Okay, I had this bracket all mocked up on the pipe, so it fits fine once you're all installed. It's just you didn't have enough room with these long bolts to angle in here. Once you move the pipe moves in, it moves back and goes in like this at this arc. So the arc just wasn't working. So instead of slotting the holes out on that, I went ahead and slotted the hole in here. So it'll slide over about another 1/8 inch further, and that should give me enough room. I think that's about where the stock hole ended. We're going that deep now. So that should give me enough room to make it fit together correctly. So I have to slide out the bracket over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and tighten these all back down. Shove the bracket all the way forward. We should be fine. You know, they should fit together. Maybe. We'll see. It's all clean out here. I had a bunch of stinky oil and water mixed in here and gunk and who knows what else that stuff was. A lot of it though, whatever it was. Kind of find the happy medium in there. It's pretty tight. That's good. Alright. Top races. Alright. We got that in there. Now we're going to see how the pipe will be able to slip in without tight. Hopefully it does. We'll see. Why is it binding up now? Put in correctly. Oh, look at that. Oh, it fits now. Helps install it correctly. Ah, damn it. Yeah. Still doesn't quite make it. It's close. goes. Perfect. Right at the limit. It definitely wants to spring out when you tighten that up. And that's under a lot of tension. So the pipe does not want to sit in tight, it wants to be out. See, you're forcing in like that, see, so I don't like forcing stuff. We know the rear pipe likes sitting out, so that means we're going to space this thing out a quarter inch or so. You still got room on there for nuts, so we shouldn't have a problem there. So, this all wants to be where it wants to be. So instead of fighting everything, let it be where it wants to be. Okay, so I need some spacers that are a quarter inch thick. So it's going to be probably 2 fairly heavy washers, would be my guess. The other bolts. They're in the pipe. Good place for them. Okay, so let's go see if we can find some hardware that we need. So, got 2 options. We can use spacers. These are just 3/8. Quarter inch by 7/16 OD. So these will do exactly what we need. Quarter inch thick. The small ODs don't have a lot of holding power, but they will pull in tight. Shouldn't be a problem. Big thick brackets shouldn't be an issue. Excuse me. The other option is that drawer. We use thick washers. These ones. 2 of these will equal 1 of those. So do you want to look at washers like this being stacked in there, or do you want to look at a nice chrome spacer? That's your option. So, this customer here, I don't think cares about looks as much as he does function. He just wants to ride his bike. So that means we're going to use washers. So I bought a bag of 100 of them. Just finding thick washers is hard. Alright, so that ought to be enough. So I'm going to put the 2 rounded surfaces to the sides and sharp edges to the inside. So that's a 1/2 inch of space almost there. It's about 7/16. Still it's tight, but it goes. You can still see we got good room for a nut and stuff on the back side. Now, I think on this application you probably could get away with a nylock nut because I don't think this pipe's going to be too hot way in the back here. Especially with all the bracketry and the fact that nut should not be touching the pipe. But I'm going to go ahead and use these because I know with these we shouldn't have a problem. And I'll just put some blue Loctite on them. And that should be fun and plenty tight for that. Now the rear pipe should just sit right up on this by itself. Shouldn't have any problem. So let's find our blue Loctite. Blue, not red like they used. So we got a combination of locking compound and mechanical locking also. I got a lock nut as well as Loctite. Okay. Okay. Then find a sweet spot for the pipe. Always most important to get the head pipe happy. You can worry about the tail end later. Okay, it's still having to be pushed in, but it is what it is. So you still gotta move around in there. You gotta pick up and shove in. So it's still not exactly how I want it to be, but it is what it is. Let me go ahead and loosen these up just a tick. I'll pull it in tight up there at the end. We'll go ahead and get this dialed in here in the back. We're not going to do a full torque, we're just going to pull in until it touches. So it can still kind of float around a little bit. Easily add another washer in here too if we wanted to. Okay, this bracket can still move a little bit. Okay, things are just partially tight, not real heavy yet. So like I said, this bracket can move around a little bit here so I can get the other pipe on it where it needs to be. These are already all torqued. These have about 3/4 torque on them. So, nice and solid. You can see it didn't take me all day to get the thing on and off. The bolts in here are a little long still here. So you can still space this thing out another 1/4 inch if you wanted to. Still be on the nut, but I'd say one more washer if you wanted to, but I think we're probably pretty good with what we got. We probably could put a 3/8 nut over there instead of those washers, and that would probably would work just fine. I would space it out a little bit further also. So I still might do that, because I know the pipe wants to be out there. Let's see how this lines up, and we'll see what we got to do. What to do with the bolts here. So let's see how this fits in here. Looks fairly good. Seems to line up halfway decent. So this all pulls in here real nice like this. Obviously no nuts up in here yet, but it all fits in there pretty good. So we'll go ahead and go put our hardware in there and see what it looks like. It's not going to go that easy. Start with your fingers. Still isn't super easy, but not too hard. The stock nuts are a pain in the butt too, so. That one went right on. That went real easy on that one. Lucky. Okay. Custom wrench going. Okay, got light tension on there. Not too bad, and it still lines up pretty nice. So we're still sitting here pretty flush, that's good. So I can just put these two nuts on there, we should be fine. So it's all pretty nice, that fits pretty good. At least now it's to a reasonable installation for putting exhaust on the bike now, unlike before where it was pretty much next to impossible to do anything. So, big improvement. And drop of blue. Nuts I had out. Here's one. And two. Now this 1/4 inch bracket here, we shouldn't have much vibration in the exhaust system now. pretty tight. See if I can still use the ratchet in here. Yep. It's nice and easy. You can put a ratchet in here still. Okay. I think that works pretty good with that offset. I'll go ahead and see about tightening down the pipes now here. A little bit of torque on those. Come down here. Kind of go back and forth on the torque. This one's already pretty tight. That's pretty damn tight. Couldn't do that before. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, come over here to the front one, do the same thing. Get a good torque on here. That's pretty good torque. And then we use the wrench over here. I think there's enough room I can do my box. These have been shaved down to get in tight spots. There you go. It just makes it. That's pretty good torque because I got a lot of leverage on that wrench, obviously. So yeah, it just fits up in there. So good torque. You look at your gap up between the pipe and here, and you make sure it's fairly even. Looks pretty good. Definitely tight. This one here also is fairly even. So that's what you're looking for. Okay, I'm gonna just torque down these 4 bolts in the back here. When the wrench just dropped. So, kind of access to be got in here. Probably limited. So you can't run this box wrench in here, won't fit. Probably run these box wrenches in here still. You know, the horn's kind of in the way, but be nice if the horn wasn't there. So you can see how it's going to be kind of snug getting in and out of here. Turn for this side on this one here. So come down with this on this one. The inner one though is going to be a little bit harder to get to. Now, these aren't super good bolts here, so you don't want to nail them too good. You're just going to break them. Put pretty good pressure there. That's good pressure. Definitely way more than he had before on anything. You can get an opening on this one. I can also get my little box wrench in it. I mean, not my ratchet, but it's tight. So this is pretty tight too. See how a little box. See how this works. So you can still get in here and bring it in with this, and then I can do the final torque with the big, on a longer wrench. So they're still tight in here. It's one of these things where you can kind of see, but you can't really get into. There's a lot of stuff that's like that on bikes and cars. Not really engineered to be worked on. It's hard on your fingers. A lot of stretching going on here. That means I'm doing a lot of tightening and it's not really any tighter. Torque's about the same. You don't know if something's pulling in or something's breaking. You can't really tell the difference. When it goes snap, you know what it was. My guess is I'm pulling the pipe down the bracket and everything's kind of bending, kind of form-fitting to each other. Let's get the torque. Ooh, way more than I had on this one. Okay, they're pretty tight. Everything just keeps pulling and pulling and pulling, so I have to come back and check this stuff after it vibrates itself in and retorque this stuff a little bit. But like I said, if you just keep pulling on these things, you're just going to pull the damn T-nuts right off the end of this thing. It's pretty solid. Ain't going anywhere. Alright, well there you go. That's how they should have made the exhaust mounting system when they first made these damn pipes, but oh well. They didn't care. It looked good, it went out the door, that's all they cared about. Okay, I'm going to clean all this mess up, I'll be back.